we speak at a time when some people say an inflection point has come in India's politics, and many commentators writing it. Yesterday, one paper wrote that the government should look back in the mirror and see its position vis-a-vis its claims apropos democracy in this country, particularly because it's hosting G20 right now. Before I get into the party politics, before I get into the legalese, you are a master of that, I wish to ask you one thing. You've been a parliamentarian for decades. You've been Home Minister, Finance Minister of this country. Probably the highest chairs that this country accords to a parliamentarian or a politician. How do you weigh this, Mr. Chidambaram, what is happening right now? Of course, it is not happening for the first time. But how do you weigh what has happened in the last week in the parliament with the disqualification of Mr. Gandhi?
Let me begin by asking you to keep the emergency out. The emergency was an aberration, and I think Srimati Indira Gandhi and the Congress party have acknowledged it was an aberration. So keep that out. Barring the emergency, this is the first time in India we're going through a phase of near autocracy. As I said, barring the emergency. Now, I have been in Parliament since 1984, and I've never witnessed a period of time when there is such a cynical approach to Parliament by the government. In my view, the top leadership of the government simply does not care for Parliament, or their view of Parliament is a very different body that simply stamps whatever the executive does, like in many other countries. Parliament is a place for debate. Court is a place for inquiry, investigation, adjudication. Parliament represents the old Greek ideal of a public square, where Plato and Aristotle and others met and debated. Now, we can't have public squares in India anymore, although there is in the village today, the village chowk, which is a public square. Parliament is the replica of a public square. And in that public square is silent. Silent in the sense that there is a lot of noise, but there is no debate. And who is instigating the noise? It's the treasury benches. I've heard Arun Jaitley say obstructionism is part of legitimate parliamentary tactics. The present rulers have taken it a step beyond. Obstructionism by the treasury benches is part of legitimate parliamentary tactics. It's a very, very sad period for India.
That's the summation you make, Mr. Chidambaram. The fact is that Treasury will say that Mr. Gandhi went out of the country. Of course, this is not the only time when the Treasury has probably disturbed the proceedings. But in this particular case, Treasury's claim is that Mr. Gandhi went out of the country, defamed the country, and hence they were demanding an apology, much as just as you were demanding a JPC into one particular business's affairs.
Fine. Whether he defamed the country or not is a point of view. It's not a judgment delivered by the Treasury benches. That's the Treasury's point of view. We have an exactly opposite point of view. He did not defame the country. In fact, there are occasions when the Prime Minister of this country, the Honorable Prime Minister, has gone out of the country and said, people in India are asking what sin did we commit in the previous birth that we are born Indian. He said that. Nobody asked for his apology, be that as it may. The Treasury has a point of view. The opposition, including the Congress, has a different point of view. Debate it. Let the people judge whether the remarks made by Mr. Rahul Gandhi in England requires an apology. Let the people judge. How can you be judge, jury, and prosecutor? The Treasury bench says, I am prosecuting you for defaming the country. I am the jury. I will be the judge. I have pronounced a verdict that you must apologize. Please apologize. What kind of parliamentary tradition or parliamentary rule is that? Debate it.